All right, welcome back to the debate today. It's a very simple question. We are asking, now that Arsenal have a new manager and their former captain, Mikel Arteta, the former number 2, to Pep Guardiola, is Arteta the right man for the Arsenal job? It's really a very simple question. Is Mikel Arteta the right man for the Arsenal job? He has the job for 3.5 years. 3.5 years. So from now till then, is he the right man under the circumstances for the job? Benjamin says he is the right man for the job.
Yep.
Edwin says he's not. So let me start with Benjamin. You like letting others start to it. So today I'm going to start with you.
It doesn't matter for me.
You really think that Mikel Arteta is the right man for the Arsenal job at this point in time?
Solid. I mean, this is a decision that I feel they should have taken maybe a season or two ago. Before they hired Unai Emery, they were looking at Arteta as well. And Arteta was my guy for the job at the time. And then they hired Emery because of his Europa League pedigree, and we all saw how that has ended.
Which was justified.
Not really. They want to win a league, not a Europa League. So Arsenal are not that enamored by going near the Champions League now because they don't have the stomach for the Champions League now. So you deal with what you can stomach for the moment. And now, why do I say this, right? First and foremost is what I call the lost philosophy. If you look at Arsenal now, and somebody tells you that Arsene Wenger was the manager of this team 4 years ago, you would literally cringe and tell them that they've lost their minds. Because if you watch Arsenal play now, they are a bunch of headless chickens just running with no patterns.
Ouch.
Nothing. It really is that bad. And it reflects badly on Freddie Ljungberg. In the last 3 games I saw him coach the team, it was terrible. But that's not his doing. That is the doing of Unai Emery. This is Unai Emery's work that Freddie Ljungberg is getting stick for. So the first thing that Arteta will do is to restore the philosophy. And who better
Does he have one?
Of course he does. Of course he does. Even if he doesn't have a specific philosophy like Jürgen Pressing or Tiki Taka, he is attacking football oriented. In Unai Emery, we didn't know if the football was defensive. We didn't know if it was counter-attacking based. We didn't know. It was just...
Isn't that the thing about Arteta, though? How do we know he has attacking football? Because he's worked under Pep?
No, because I've read columns that say that Arteta is practically the architect of the current Manchester City attack. Pep Guardiola is the head coach and he does the in-game management and stuff, but a lot of the thinking. In fact, if you watch Manchester City closely on the bench, Pep is literally always consulting with Arteta before he makes decisions. So if you watch Arteta play and he becomes a defensive manager, I mean, that would be one of the biggest shocks of my lifetime. I don't expect it to happen. So restoring that philosophy that Arsenal have is important. It's embarrassing to watch them now because you know why? Even teams like Sheffield United have an identity. Teams like Leicester City have an identity. Not to talk of Arsenal. Even when Arsenal were being battered left, right, centre in the last days of Wenger, their identity remained in place. They never drifted away from it. Now, it's actually been thrown to the dogs, so they need to restore that. The second thing is that he is coming in as a manager with something to prove, everything to prove. And that is one of the biggest chips you can have on your shoulder when you are actually going into a game or a job of this nature. There's everybody saying, why are we hiring this guy? He doesn't have any pedigree. He's not won anything before. He's not coach. He's listening to all that and saying that, well, everybody needs a platform to perform. Everybody needs a platform for which he can also hone his craft. And what a way to do it than in the same mode as his own Arsene Wenger did when he was coming from Japan with no pedigree. He's also been criticized for being too calm and a little too stiff. Look, I'm not saying that he's like somebody that we know, but I'm saying that I like a manager who knows his stuff and prefers to communicate not too loudly, gives the players a certain semblance to be able to organize themselves. So the second thing for me is that he has a lot to prove as a manager, and he comes in with that unknown factor. So you go into a team...
Isn't that a danger, though?
Well, it's a danger for teams. I mean, for his own Arsenal setup, he's going to go through with them in the back rooms what they need to be doing. And I don't think that he is unreasonable enough to want to bring down the whole building and reconstruct as it stands now.
Yeah.
Now, what that means is that, like I was talking about, it's a danger of the unknown for teams. You don't know exactly what kind of card...
For Arsenal themselves, they don't know exactly what they're getting.
To some extent, yes. Yeah. And you don't know what card he's going to pull out because now he's not a guy you've studied over time. His tactics are relatively new to you. So that should take a few teams or catch them off guard based on the fact that there will be that new manager impetus as well to add to the equation.
You make a very interesting point about what Arsenal needs now. You said Arsenal need to win.
Yeah.
They don't care about... And you think that to win, they need somebody who's never won.
It could be that way. It could be that way. Now, let me explain that. They need to win right away, but again, they also need somebody with the drive to win. For instance, if you bring in an accomplished coach, Unai Emery won titles with Sevilla.
But he had never won a league title.
He had won the league with PSG before he came in.
Yeah,
so
that is a farmers' league.
At least he understood what it took to win. At least that's what they said. But he came in with this air of entitlement, and all of a sudden he didn't seem to have a clue about how to go about things.
So
and then
Arteta all the way for you.
Yeah, Arteta definitely for me.
Okay. Edwin, I mean, you heard him.
Yeah.
He said the man doesn't have experience, but he would rather have that than a proven winner.
Well, I was listening to Ben. I was wondering if he was talking about Arteta or Prime Mourinho. Because I couldn't tell the difference. Drive, philosophy, and desire to win. I mean, even Arsenal didn't think he was the right man for the job. They were looking at they were looking at everyone else but Arteta. They were looking at Pochettino. They even considered Mourinho.
They're not serious. That's why they're where they
Carlo
are now.
Ancelotti. Even before when they appointed Unai Emery, they didn't even go to him. They could have got Arteta into the job. They didn't bring him in because they know he is not the right man for the job. And I completely agree. They've gone for him now, and I think it's a terrible, terrible decision. You've gone for a manager who has not managed a club on his own. You are a top 6 club, hoping to remain a top six club, and you've gone for a manager who has not taken charge of a team of his own. You've gone for a manager.
I did it with Pep.
You've gone for a manager.
We both know how that turned out. Brilliant, wasn't it?
Look, Pep, like Ben said, knew the philosophy of Barcelona. Pep had been.
Arteta understands the philosophy of
Arsenal. He played for Arsenal
Look,
for nearly 10 years.
We talk about philosophy and Arteta. Arteta was with Arsenal for 4 or 5 years. I know he spent some time with the club, but he was with the club for 4 or 5 years.
Is that not good enough a time for you to learn?
Captain for 2 years, and he couldn't wait to leave the club and go and join Manchester City as part of their management team.
He had retired.
And he couldn't wait. He just left immediately
Pep
to
was
Man
a
City.
Spaniard guy. He spoke Spanish to him.
Look, if he cared so much about the philosophy and the greatness of Arsenal, he would have stayed and worked under Arsene Wenger. But he knew
he's gone to learn.
Yeah,
now he's
he
back to
didn't
serve.
care about the philosophy. So him coming in does not improve any philosophy at the club. He comes to do his own thing. And we know this former players coming into their own clubs to manage their former clubs. It hardly ever works. Or players
it's not working at Stamford Bridge?
Look,
Good job.
It's almost didn't work with Manchester United. It's stuttering. The jury is still out on that one. For Frank Lampard, look, Frank Lampard had a whole preseason to work with this Chelsea team, and even he is struggling right now. Imagine Arteta, who just comes in the middle of the season. The team is down, the players are down, the fans are down. No one wants to go and watch Arsenal matches anymore. Opponents think that Arsenal are ripe for the picking and will go to the Emirates and attack from minute 1 to minute 90 and gets goals as well because they know this team is not good enough. How is a manager who
has worked under Pep?
Pep Guardiola is the manager at Man City. He's had to deal with stresses of transfers. He's had to deal with stresses of dealing with other opponents' managers, stresses of dealing with the players, stresses of dealing with external things like coach meetings,
pretty much
everything.
Yeah.
Arteta has been free to deal with the players. When he becomes manager of Arsenal, all these duties that he didn't even consider while at Man City, that he left for Pep Guardiola because he knew he was the underling.
He's wanted this job for a long time. He could have had it last 2 years ago.
He's been prepping for it. In his mind, he's been prepping for it.
I have wanted to become a Chelsea striker my whole life. I have been prepping to become a Chelsea striker. That doesn't mean I have any hope of becoming a Chelsea striker. That is the case with Arteta.
The difference is that you haven't done anything. He has.
Ben talks about him being an attacking manager, his red columns. Am I going to believe a column that says that Arteta works with players and he's attacking when I've not seen him in action?
You will see it against
So
Everton.
for you,
I'm not going to trust.
I'll tell you this. I like what the point he's raised, but I say this. from the rock bottom, there's only one way you can go. And Arsenal are the rock bottom now. They can't sink any
And
lower.
the only way is to go the route of
They
inexperience.
can't sink any lower, but they can stay where they are.
They won't stay where they are, tell you that for sure.
You had the guys there, very interesting divergent views on the topic. Is Arteta the right man for the Arsenal job? One man that knows all about the Arsenal job is the former manager, Arsene Wenger. Here he is, having his take on whether or not Arteta has the right experience to coach Arsenal.
And at the moment, I support the manager in charge, and the manager in charge is Ljungberg. When Arteta will be in charge, I will support Arteta. For the rest, of course, Arsenal is going through a very difficult period, so it's better I don't comment too much on that, and I just suffer like every supporter. It's passion, there is knowledge, but Ljungberg as well. So I believe that. Mikel Arteta is certainly a great future. He certainly learned a lot in his first position as an assistant coach. And after that, you know, as well, he will have to deal with the fact that he has no experience at that level. And he will have to get surrounded well, have a good environment at the club. I think the most important, every club, and Arsenal especially, is built on special values. And inside the club, people have to take care of that. That is the most important. What makes the culture of a club great is first the values of a club. And you have to be faithful to that and continue to develop that. And he have to be surrounded, if he comes into respect.
Okay, so you heard him. He thinks Arteta doesn't have the right experience for the job. But he does say that, you know, he thinks that...
They need a man that understands the
that's
culture
true. So
of the club. I mean, look, the
Arteta
right experience is not blocked out to the skies.
Okay, you've had your say. That has been the debate. We will take a very short break. When we come back, FPL Zone will be next.